We have an absolutely stacked lineup today for MLB recap, so we're not going to waste any time. The only thing that I'm going to ask of you guys is, one, to leave a like on the video, and also, today is the day that you should subscribe because we're on the road to 200,000 subs before opening day. It's going to be so close, but if you guys could help me out, I would really appreciate it. But breaking news, if you're a Giants fan, you might want to go ahead and plug your ears because you are not going to like this, but let me go ahead and add some context to it after I'm done telling you the breaking news. Buster Posey, the heart and soul of the San Francisco Giants, is opting out of the 2020 season. And before you start typing, "Boo, Buster Posey, he believes in a hoax and he's sitting out for nothing," he just adopted two twins, and not only are they twins, they're premature babies. I've already explained in the past that baby, or babies in this case, do not have a complete mature immune system till about 2 or 3 months into their life. So I actually tip my cap to Buster Posey because he's choosing health and safety over millions of dollars. Buster Posey, he gets paid a lot, so he is saying, I'm not going to go ahead and risk my family's safety.
The adoption actually became official yesterday afternoon. And my wife, myself, and our older children are just overwhelmed with joy to welcome them to our family, to love them unconditionally, and just share life with them. The twins were born prematurely. Thank God they are doing really well, but they're going to have to be in the NICU for quite some time. And after much discussion with my wife and doctors, a decision that I've wrestled with quite a bit since I knew that this adoption was on the table, I've decided to opt out of the 2020 baseball season.
And I bring up that point because there are guys playing in Major League Baseball right now that do not care about the protocols. They don't care about the safety of other people on their teams. And the biggest example that I can think of is Franmil Reyes. The Indians actually told him, go away, leave. You cannot come back until you have 2 negative tests, because he was caught on social media at some gathering for 4th of July. Now, I understand that these are human beings, and 4th of July is one of those holidays that everyone gathers together. We roast weenies and we eat hamburgers and we play baseball in the sandlot. It's a fun day. But Franmil Reyes, he agreed to play baseball, so he has to abide by the rules, and he didn't do that. He put all of his teammates at risk, because if he went out to a social gathering and he got it, maybe he was asymptomatic, he could then spread it to the entire clubhouse and ruin the entire season for the Indians. So that's exactly why Buster Posey is choosing to sit out, because you can't trust everyone. They might say to your face, I'm gonna do my part, and then they end up at a social gathering and run the risk of ruining the entire season. So good on Buster Posey. Franmil Reyes, what are you doing? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you're an Indians fan, what do you make of that? And also, Buster Posey sitting out. If you're a Giants fan, how does that affect your season? Now, I have to take a set. This next topic, this next story. If you're an A's fan, your best player absolutely roasted you about an hour ago. So you guys already know that these stadiums are going to be pretty much empty in 2020. I think they might have players out there, maybe a few concessions, who knows. But for the most part, there's not going to be any fans. And Matt Chapman, he came out and said that the A's have an advantage this year because they pretty much are used to not having fans. He called the stadium quiet. So if I'm an A's fan right now, I don't know if I'm upset, or I don't know if I'm like, wow, he really called us out. I think that we should start going to more games, because the Warriors are not very good anymore. The Raiders are leaving to Las Vegas, and the A's, they apparently don't get support. So what's going on with Oakland sports right now? That was one of the biggest burns I've seen in quite some time. The fact that they are better off in the empty stadium for 2020 because of their past experience with the fans not supporting their club. Shots fired from the captain of the A's, Matt Chapman. So you guys have to let me know, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel a certain type of way? Do you not care? As an Indians fan, we usually don't get the best support either, so I can kind of relate. I understand what he's saying. It just didn't come across as the best, especially if I'm an A's fan. Moving on, we're going to talk about the Blue Jays, because if any Blue Jays player is caught outside of the stadium or the hotel, Canada, the country of Canada, is going to fine any player that leaves the bubble $750,000. $1,000, and that's not even it. On top of the fine, they could risk going to jail. So Canada is not messing around. So if you're Bo Bichette or Vladimir Guerrero Jr., just stay inside, play your Call of Duty, play your MLB The Show or Fortnite. Do not run the risk of having an almost $1 million fine and going to jail just to go meet up with a Tinder date or something like that. It's not worth it. Now, I think this all comes in the face of what happened to Franmil Reyes, because he left the bubble, he put everyone at risk, so they're not trying to have that. They see the writing on the wall, they understand what's at risk. But one thing about the Blue Jays is I don't think that Bo Bichette is going to have an issue this season. In fact, I'm willing to say that Bo Bichette is going to break out even more in 2020. And if you missed his first home run of the Spring Training 2.0, roll it right now because it's beautiful. Coming up next, again, this really only happens because of the current situation, the global pandemic. Bryce Harper yelled at the Phillies management. Now, I'm not saying he yelled like, yo, F you. He had some fun. What happened is he was on first base, and JT Realmuto, who's going to be a free agent, he's looking for a contract extension. He hit a home run to the opposite field. JT Realmuto did not run the bases. He just kind of took a break and he went to the dugout. What happened with Bryce Harper? He circled the bases and he took advantage of this opportunity because all of the general management was watching this game and the owners of the team. So as soon as he touched home plate, he took a couple steps and he yelled up to them, "Sign him." That was one of the biggest reasons why Bryce Harper signed with the Phillies, is because he didn't take a lot of money up front. That way they could build a stacked team. Get Zach Wheeler, Didi Gregorius, re-sign JT Realmuto. So if I'm Bryce Harper, yeah, it's kind of a joke, but I'm not really messing around. You better sign this man, the best catcher in baseball. Otherwise, we're going to have some issues. So I thought that was kind of fun. You don't really see that all too often. He's almost trying to be the LeBron of Major League Baseball, where he is the GM. He is going to dictate who's on the team, or at least attempt to dictate who's on the team and who's not. But you guys know I'm a big-time Bryce Harper fan, so I love this. His passion for baseball and his teammates is pretty much unmatched. We're going to go ahead and move on to the Red Sox now, because they are interested in signing Mr. Yasiel Puig. You guys saw the title. They're also interested in Aaron Sanchez. I will say that Sanchez was pretty good for the Astros before he got injured in 2019, or maybe it was 2018. My timing could be off. Anyways, Aaron Sanchez has proven to be a pretty good pitcher in the past. So if the Red Sox, if they can add a bat like Yasiel Puig and maybe even put in Aaron Sanchez in that rotation, do they end up being a playoff team? I'm not certain. I still think that the Yankees are going to dominate that division. And then the rest of the other NL East teams that are competing in that same division as the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the East Division. It's going to be tough even if the Red Sox do end up signing Yasiel Puig, but I'm almost certain that this deal is going to get done. There was also some rumors that Puig was going to sign with the Giants, so that's pretty much all up in the air. It's still wild to me that Puig had a pretty decent season last year. He's a great outfielder in terms of his arm, and his speed is all right, but he's not being signed. So maybe that says something more about Yasiel Puig than it does anyone else. Next up, Miguel Andujar. We all know that his bat is insane. Here you guys can see he took his teammate Garrett Cole deep. But the thing about Miguel Andujar is that this man either needs to play first base, be a DH, and then that's it, because he is not the best defender. I'm actually willing to say that he is one of the worst defenders I've ever seen in my lifetime. At third base, in left field, at first base, in right field. I will cut him some slack because this error was probably caused by the sun. And speaking from someone who has a lot of experience in center field, left field, right field, the outfield in general, the sun is your worst enemy. It's one of those things that you can't control it even with sunglasses and a hat. Sometimes the ball just literally goes into that little dot. So I'll go ahead and cut him some slack. He was showing some promise at first base, but regardless, Andujar, he's going to have to figure it out, because Luke Voit, he can play a decent first base. He can DH. There's also Stanton. So that spot might be taken if we're talking about designated hitters. So he's going to have to play the field, in my opinion. Now, one thing I did want to show, I thought it was kind of funny. These are what celebrations are going to look like in 2020. 2020 because you can't dab each other up. So you're going to have to go ahead and touch cleats. Almost like you're Dorothy where you're slapping your ankles together trying to go to somewhere else because you can't high five or do anything like that. So the last thing I want to talk about before we get into this day in Major League Baseball history, I told you there was a lot to talk about. I'm just running through it. The blackout list is officially out and it's been out for quite some time. But look how many teams are blacked out, especially for me in Nevada. Honestly, do you guys remember when you were a kid, there was something called Fruit Stripes that had the zebra on it? That's what the 2020 blackout list looks like, and it's super sad because they're ruining their own sport. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know I kind of ran through this. It was almost a speed MLB recap, but there was so much to talk about. I didn't want to waste your time. So if you like that kind of stuff, leave a like. Again, I would really appreciate a subscribe today. But without further ado, what happened on this day in Major League Baseball history? Let's find out.
With his screwball as baffling as ever, Hubble followed by striking out Lou Gehrig. A double steal went for naught because he ended the inning by fanning Jimmy Fox.
The man of 1,000 stances leads off, rips one, goodbye. Ripken homers in his final All-Star game.
Strike three call. Jonathan Sanchez has thrown a no-hitter here at AT&T Park. As the Giants come storming out of their dugout.
Ortiz out towards left center field, and this is going to get down. Heads to the track of the wall. Ibanez back to play. Big Papi's got a double, and he is the all-time leader in hits among DHs. Incredible feat for David Ortiz.
The power right there.
To pull within one, and he needs players emulating that. This is a short, quick swing. He creates that bad angle.
There, Aaron Judge, your 2017 home run derby champion.